Hello everyone, I am Andre Walford, the mind behind the fighting game Battle Eterna. Today I'll be explaining to you the layouts and give you a basic information on the cards that you'll be using to play. First, what is Battle Eterna? If you enjoy fighting games like I do, and I'm talking Melty Blood, Guilty Gear, Tekken, Capcom vs SNK, Killer Instinct, or even the current Dragon Ball FighterZ, then this game is for you. Battle Eterna has a unique approach on tabletop card games, a fighting system like never before. This is not a trading card game. Battle Eterna is a fighting game that uses cards for players to interact. Like every arcade fighter, you perform combos, utilize big moves, read your opponent, mix up your approach, and ultimately be the last fighter standing. In this series of tutorials, we'll be going over things in a simplistic form. The rulebook covers any and everything you need to know. It even has diagrams. For this series of learning how to battle, we'll be covering templates, which is this current video, performing combos and skills at a noob level, performing combos and skills at a basic level and using overdrives, performing combos at an advanced level and using awakenings, and finally, fighting at a master level. Without wasting any more time, let's get into it. This is the Battle Eterna PlayMat. As you can see, everything is pretty straightforward. It's all labeled out for you. Your deck goes here, your character goes here, his overdrive or her overdrive goes here. When performing a combo, you'll lay your cards out here. These are where you lay out your skills, and this is how you track your health. This is where you track the number of Eterna you have, or for layman's terms, mana. This is where you put your awakening card, which basically makes your character more of a boss character per se. So, here's what a character card looks like. This is Able Strike, one of our main characters. Able Strike has 140 health. Obviously, this is where his name is, his battle quote. This is his combo potential. Able can perform a combo of 6 hits. Every character has 2 stances in Battle Eterna. They have a Heaven stance and a Hell stance. In their Heaven stance, for Able, for example, he's combo heavy, which means he relies more on combos. In his Hell stance, he's versatile. He's both offensive and defense. He's got a little bit of both. He's not really perfect at anything, but he can be good at doing everything. In this description box here, this is what makes characters differ from each other. All characters have a unique ability. Able is included in this, of course. He also has a unique ability that only he can pull off, hence the term unique. Every character you have will have a way that they like to fight best, a style per se. Finding a character that suits your style is key to winning any battle. With this, we'll place Able in our player slot. When starting a game, there are other cards that you can automatically put inside of your player slot, such as Able's Awakening, which we'll put right here in the Awakening slot, and Able's Overdrive, which we'll put in his Overdrive slot. Now, Able has 140 health. How do we track this? For us, we're going to use dice. Placing one dice on the 100 and another dice on the 40, this shows everybody involved that Able is at full health, 140. When Able takes damage, you slide this over. This means currently he has 120 health. If I wanted to symbolize an increment of 5, like 15, 25, 35, 45, it would go in between. To show that Able is at 125 health, I'd put it in between 20 and 30. Let's make one thing clear. All damage is taken in increments of 5. There is no 3 damage, 13 damage, 23, 27, 56. There's none of that. It's 5, 10, 15, 20. If you can count by fives, you're already ahead of the game. This is how we track health. Once he loses his 40 from his 140, you just remove this dice, and then you're just using a die for the rest of the game. And you just slide it down until KO. Now, for Abel, we're going to be using his health stance. For the sake of the tutorial, we're only going to be using opener and ender cards because they're the most basic skills to use. We'll put those in the skill slots. Now, when you originally start a game, you fill up your skill slots with 4 cards, but since this is just a beginner's tutorial, we're going to just be using 2 cards instead. You can tell that these cards are health stance cards because of the icon in the middle. This icon tells you that this is a health stance card, and it can only be used when Abel is in his health stance. This tells you the type of card that it is, which is an opener. We can get into the status effects a little bit later when you're more comfortable with the game. Every card has variations to it. A base variation and an EX variation. Blue and red. This is how much damage your skill will do. This is the costing value to trigger such a skill. You'll need 4 Eterna to use its base form and 5 Eterna to use its EX form. If you use an EX, the description box will then come into play. We can discuss what a minor debuff is a little bit later on when you get more comfortable with the game. For now, just focus on the key values, the damage and the cost. And of course, what type it is. A hell move, that's an opener. Obviously, you'll see that the values change depending on what the skill is. This is an ender. As you proceed on throughout Battle Eterna, you'll be able to perform combos and build bar. And for some of you who are not a part of the fighting game community, what building bar is building your resources, your mana per se. Or in this case, building Eterna. We use a D10 dice to build Eterna. You only get a maximum of 10 Eterna. You can never go over the value. So, when tracking Eterna, we use a D10. Right now the dice is off to symbolize that there's 0. But as we build Eterna, let's say we've built 8, we'll put that in our Eterna slot so that our opponent and everybody else that is spectating is aware of how much Eterna the player currently has. These are the things you'll need to know for your training. In the next video, we'll begin to put you into the action, performing basic combos to build Eterna so that you can use your skills and KO your opponent. Always remember, the Battle Eterna rulebook goes into every detail that you need for every card afforded to you. For now, this will wrap up this video. In the next, you will see how the action unfolds. I'm Andre Wolford. This is Battle Eterna. What defines your battle?